How close were you with Randy Orton at this period of time? Were you still close with him?
Yeah, I mean, I had, like I said, we rode together for about a year when I was on Raw. The last time I was on Raw, we rode together for about a year, and then I got switched back over to SmackDown, and then I got injured, and then got pulled back over. But we still kept in contact that whole time. We talked all the time. I talked to him the week before, and whatever.
What are your memories of the 10-man tag team match? And what exactly, in your opinion, what went wrong?
Well, I remember for some reason I just had a bad feeling that whole day. I don't know what it was, but it was just when I had ridden with Randy for about a year. Like I said, we were good friends. Our wives go shopping together and stuff like that. They get together for WrestleMania. They get their hair did and their nails did and all that stuff together. So we were pretty close, and then I thought everything was fine. We came back to the curtain, and Randy was complaining that I dropped him on his head, and he was selling his neck, and at the time I hadn't seen the tape or anything like that, so I wasn't gonna if I did in fact drop somebody on their head, I'm not gonna. Well, no, I didn't. You don't. So I just said, well, if I did, I apologize, man. I'm really sorry. And he, kind of lectured me on safety in the ring and stuff like that, which is ridiculous because I've never heard anybody other than getting accused of hurting John Cena when he gave me a move. That was the first that I ever heard that I was unsafe in the ring, and so he was selling his neck. He went back to the trainer, got iced up, got his neck iced, his shoulders all iced up, and like I said, I apologized up and down. I sat in his little private dressing room with him, and I apologized to him up and down, and then as things were, he kept saying, "Well, it's okay. I overreacted. I apologize. No big deal. Just it is what it is. It's water under the bridge as far as I'm concerned right now." And then I would make a little joke about something, and he would go, "See, that's where I don't think it's funny. I don't think you take this seriously. You don't know how serious this is." Like, yeah, I do. Like, if I dropped you on your head, I apologize, man. I mean, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, I've been dropped on my head a million times. Like, in fact, in that match, if you watch Randy give me a drop kick, I actually do land on my fucking head. So then, like I said, he got all iced up. He was all iced up and everything. I went home. I barely slept that night because here I'm thinking, like, I come back, I'm working with the top guys, and I hurt the top guy again. I'm gonna be working the fucking, curtain jerker next week. And then,
You want to pause it?
no.
Okay.
And then I went home and I watched the tape. And I rewound the tape. And it was on high definition on my DVR. And lo and behold, when you see him land, he lands. If you look, from his shoulders to his ass is a straight line. Like, you couldn't have landed flatter on the mat. And his neck never even come in contact with the mat. You can see a shadow on the mat the whole time. He goes down, his neck is, there's still a little shadow, and then he starts to come back up again. And then he does the punch at the air, starts pounding his fist into the mat. I had heard through the grapevine that if you watch the tape from a different angle, you can see that Randy jumped really hard, and that I had to pull him back into me. That it was either if because he jumped so hard, if I would have just gone, it was either let him just go this way,
Right.
and he would in fact drop on his head, or pull him back into me, and we went down, and he actually landed on my shoulder, which it didn't injure me, it didn't re-injure me, it hurt, which is why I was holding my wrist at the end. So he actually landed on my shoulder a little bit because he had jumped so hard. But, you know, when I was initially accused of all this, like I said, I hadn't seen the tape, and I didn't have all that information to make my judgment. So when you see all that stuff, and you see the tape, and I wish, you know, anybody out there that goes, if they have it, and I know that they have really shitty copies of it on YouTube, and I don't know if you can, you know, with the definition, if you can actually see where his neck never comes into contact, but why then would he go and get his neck iced up if his neck never touched the mat? I don't know.
Did Vince flip out after the match at all?
Nope.
No. That was one of the big rumors.
No, not to me anyways. He may have, but not to me.
What was the reason that you were given why you were let go?
Nothing. Johnny called me and said, Ken, what are you doing? So I'm just chilling at home. Okay, well, got bad news. And as soon as he said it, I was like, are you kidding me? Really? Like, okay. And he goes, we're going to have to let you go. And I said, okay. Any reason why? And he said, oh, I guess they just were unhappy with the way that things went on Monday, and we decided that we're not going to go with the Ken Kennedy character anymore.
Now, at this point in time, what's going through your head?
Shock, a little betrayal, but at the same time, relief. Because for about 1.5 years, I had been struggling. Like, I think that I have all this stuff to offer. You know, it's interesting to me that when I was on SmackDown and I was working with all those guys, everything was fine. Nobody ever complained about me being unsafe. I worked with Undertaker for 9 straight months, every night. He let me pile drive him. He's let 2 other people in his career give him a pile driver. And suddenly, when I'm on Raw, I'm unsafe to work with. I'm a hazard. This, that, and the other thing. And, you know, and it got to the point, too, where, like, I would second-guess everything, because every time I would go through the curtain, every time I would come back through, I'd go through nervous as hell because I didn't want to piss Vince off. And then I would come through and he would, that was the shits. Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Why would you do this? Why did you say this? Why did you say that? Like, I never got any positive feedback from him whatsoever. And there were people in the back, agents, producers, other wrestlers, other top guys that were just like, they would scratch their head like, what the fuck is going on with you? I don't understand what the deal is. Why this is happening? And you know, they would say, like, we can tell that it's affecting you because we can see your confidence in the ring. If you watch my earlier matches, up until I got injured, until I tore my tricep, everything was fine. And then after that, you could see the confidence go away. And I always felt confident in my abilities. It was just like I felt like I could do nothing right. So.
Did you ever feel like you wanted to call Vince up direct at all, or did you even try to call the office?
I went into his office many, many times. Is there something that I'm doing? Like, what is it? No. Just, you know, don't try to read too much into what I'm thinking or how I'm acting. You know, he would tell me, like, I fly off the handle sometimes. I don't, you know, I have faith in you. You're going to be somebody that we're going to be able to build this company around eventually someday, stuff like that. But that's not the message that I was getting when I'd come back through the curtain. In fact, there was a time where, remember earlier I had said that that I was the intention was that I would be a heel starting out, get the trust of the fans, and then turn babyface somewhere down the road. And eventually, I remember, I think it was after there was an interview that I did in the ring with Tony Chimmel, where I pulled a jelly donut out of his pocket. You know, like I do the old Full Metal Jacket. It's a jelly donut.
Right.
Are you allowed to eat jelly donuts? Stuff like that. And after that, we came back, and Vince was like, "No more of that stuff. It's too entertaining. It's it's not top guy material." And and I could see where he was, what he meant by that. And then I started doing these things on the internet, the Kennedy Declares segments, which at the time people were telling me they're getting more hits than anything that we're putting out at the time, and getting more hits than we've gotten in a long time. Anything that we've ever put out. And then after the Tom Cruise one, I did one where I was jumping up and down on the couch, and it was really funny. It got a lot of positive feedback from the crowd. He pulled the plug on it. I came in the next week and he said, we're not doing your Kennedy Declares things anymore. They're too entertaining. And I understood it, because at the time I was going into a feud with The Undertaker. And he just said, I can't have half the crowd loving you and thinking you're really funny, and half the crowd trying to hate you, because The Undertaker's the babyface in this scenario. And so we want people to legitimately hate you.
Right.
And so then he worked diligently, so hard, every week after week after week, telling me, I'd go out and cut a promo and come back and be like, that wasn't real. That wasn't real enough. That's still fake. You're still, and that's just me. That's just the way that I am. I'm an expressive person when I talk about anything. And I would tell him that. I'd be like, Vince, that's me. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm trying to be as serious and just straight as possible, but that's not me. Well, you don't talk to me that way. That's not who you really are. You don't talk to me that way. Well, yeah, I don't talk to you that way because I don't know you that way, and you're Vince. And
After your release, did you want to call Vince at all, and talk to him, or you just took Johnny Ace's word and that was?
No, that was it. Okay. And I honestly, after I got through with the initial shock and the hurt that this guy that I had ridden with, I don't know what happened there.
Have you talked to Randy since, or any of the boys? No.
I sent him a text message. I never got a response back. So.
Do you think the door?
But I have talked to I've talked to other guys from the company.
Right.
Just not him.
Do you think at one point in time the door could be open for you to return in some form, or do you think right now it's just not going to happen?
Well, I don't know. We'll see. See what happens.